Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello, we are back.
You're listening to Soul Food.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by friends and family at Soul. And it is strange because we are on video. How you feel, babe?
It's so weird. You know, when we just started,
man.
we have to get used. I have to
Yeah.
get used with my voice recorded. Now I have to get used to my face recorded.
Caroline spent a lot of time finding the right outfit. I just got whatever it is and put it on.
And the right angle.
We are recording today.
Yep.
It's been a while.
Yes.
It's a good rest.
Yes. Too long.
Too long?
We have so many people asking.
A lot of people have been asking, thank you for checking in on us. We are still alive. We are okay.
Yeah.
And
Still alive.
I think this is a little update. I guess our community here at Alostar is growing.
Yeah.
And we were just a little busy settling a lot of things. And by the way, if you see our eyes linger to a different horizon, because there's Kat helping us. Hi, Kat. Okay, babe. So, jumping right into the topic for today. What are we going to talk about?
We are going to talk about stop dating losers.
Losers! Stop dating losers. I think this is something that we've been talking about, I think, with friends.
Yeah.
And then even when we have the opportunity and privilege really to journey with some couples, we realize there are some toxic traits. We realize there's some things that are unhealthy about their relationship. And I guess this episode is more of a guide, right? babe?
Yeah.
The last thing we want is for people to end up in a relationship and they start hating one another and really not bringing the best out of one another.
Yeah.
All right. And so I think there are a couple of things that we want to talk about before you start dating a loser, right? You want to add something, babe?
No, I think why we come up with this topic also because we talked to a few individuals and they're like, why do I have to keep going through this? Breaking up, and then why do I keep meeting guys like that? Losers. I think first thing first that we need to talk about is how are we defining losers in that relationship? I think the
Right.
word losers
If the guy doesn't use deodorant, he's a loser.
I think the word losers is actually very subjective, right?
Yes,
I mean,
for
what
sure.
you think losers might be different. What Cat thinks losers, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So what can be categorized as a losers? Oh my goodness.
So,
Sounds
baby,
so-
please walk us through what is our definition of what we think losers are like.
I think when we talk to certain individuals, right, when they say that I just keep dating losers is when they come across a partner or a boyfriend who are, have a lack of maybe accountability,
Yeah.
right? Like
Everything
I don't know,
goes.
like maybe someone who can't keep commitments that well.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, like a lot of girls actually frustrated with maybe their boyfriend who just can't keep to commitment. The other day I have conversation with Caleb. Caleb is one of the guy in our community, and
Right.
he was like, actually a lot of guys we are struggling with commitment. Like the moment talk
Caleb,
about commitment,
you're struggling with commitment, Caleb.
he say he used to struggle with that, but he is a married man now. Happily
Shout out to
married.
Phoebe. Yes.
Yeah. So lack of accountability, lack of commitment. I think
It's
that-
funny, right, babe? When you're talking about this. You know how when we were younger, maybe high school time. I don't know if you guys relate to this. When you started dating, maybe in high school, you kind of believe that relationship is going to last forever. Like, this is it. This girl, I'm going to give her everything I've got. I'm going to be with him till the end, right? That's like a perspective of a high schooler.
To you?
Yes, I was one of them for sure, babe, right? But then when we meet 28-year-old, 30-year-olds, 35-year-olds, they're like, we got to be very careful. We got to take things slow, right? And it feels as if the gears have reversed. Young people should take it slow. And the older ones should like, hey, let's dive into this. And I think back to the accountability, right? I think sometimes people don't want to commit further because they are worried of accountability. I have to care for this person. I have to take notice what this person is going through.
I have to sacrifice.
Yeah. It's funny, right? I think some people told us that they are unwilling to sacrifice. Like maybe their career.
Yeah.
They are on a good trajectory
Yeah.
of what they're doing. Now again, please, nothing wrong if you want to, build a career, but is it healthy? People around you. But again, the focus for today is building healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into the dating scene, right, I think it's so important that sacrifice is an
Yeah.
important aspect.
I think if we don't need to think that far to like sacrifice from that kind of commitment. But what about like you like playing games, you like to spend your time with games, and then
Caroline has something
commitment-
against gamers.
No,
I don't know why,
I
babe.
don't. No, I don't. It's just I have something against my husband playing games because he has this thing when he play games, he have to finish everything first, and then
Okay, I
can't be he can't like take a pause first and
I'm a
like,
man on a mission. Like, that's why I don't get into games. If when I play games, I cannot. I need to focus. I need to make sure I finish everything. So yeah, when Caroline calls me, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm there. Yeah. So anyway, that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah. But back to the topic, losers in relationship.
Yeah.
One of it is like those individuals that we talk to, they keep saying that, yeah, my boyfriend just can't commit, they're just not accountable. They don't really text me, don't really inform me about their, small or big decisions, things like that. And it becomes so difficult. Like there's no communication happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think another aspect of, like how they define losers is also like some people who have lack of respect
Oh yeah.
towards their partners. Yeah.
I have been getting into conversations with couples who are preparing to get married, and one of the things, or two things I talk to them about. One is this whole, for me, I believe a very toxic idea of like, and it comes in a very like sentimental way, feels very beautiful even, like when grooms at weddings, they are like, uncle, I promise to take care of your daughter just as how you take care of her, like a princess. I think it sounds nice, but the problem is you don't want to marry a princess. You want to marry a princess that will become a queen. Because as a king and queen, you're building a life together, right? And so I think, and then of course this leads to the other point where they say things like happy wife, happy life. And then they get into this like very toxic mindset, I feel, because then whatever they do is just to ensure that their wives are happy. And I think it's a very unhealthy trait because in a marriage, both parties should be healthy as well.
Yeah.
What kind of picture are we painting for young couples out there who are dating that, happy wife, happy life kind of thing?
Yeah.
It sounds like a joke. I'm sure you've heard people say that at weddings before. But I think, we have to be very careful because I think that will lead to disrespect.
Yeah.
And then either party will get very demanding. And then, oh my gosh, the things that we have to tackle and help them through. And then when you realize, it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, like when we define respect, right? Respect doesn't mean that I let you do anything you want.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You want to treat me as a princess, like you say, I want to treat you like a princess, like how your dad treat you. Maybe we misinterpret the word respect. It means that you allowing me to do anything I want.
Oh, yeah.
I was a really spoiled child when I was young. My dad kind of like give me everything I want.
Time.
So we actually mentioned in our previous episodes how in the past, like when we were dating, when I want something, back then he was working as an MC and then he was singing in some cafes, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see me wanting something, I used to really like makeups. Then we passed by some makeup store and then I was like, oh, I really want that. Then he was like, you know what? Next week I have this job. and I'm going to buy you that thing, okay, from my pay. Then I was like, okay, but how, in the middle of the week, I have a conversation with my dad on the phone, and then I just thought I mentioned to him, and he was like, okay, I'll send you money, go and get it. Then, then not long after that, I used that money to buy, and then he was like, you have that already? You didn't wait for me? So, like that, the word respect, maybe you think that respect means that he respect what I want, then he just buy, But respect is not just that. I think respect is also allowing me to grow, to be the person and the better version of myself. I
Yeah.
think that is respect as well, right? So yeah, I think like
And I think it's also important to note in this episode that, yeah, I know it's a very strong statement. Stop dating losers. It's not a step-by-step guide like if you do this, then you will not date a loser.
Yeah.
Because the other thing would also be like defining red flags
Yeah.
and overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
Like
I
this
think-
was a challenge
yeah.
for us.
girls, you have to be very careful. Like you say, maybe you're telling us like, hey, I think I'm dating losers. Why? Because my boyfriend don't buy me the things that I want.
Oh.
Don't buy me the things that I like. That is a red flags. You
Yeah.
think that is a red flags? And like where this thought came from? I think we can blame social media, right? Like you open social media, like if your man don't do this to you, if your man don't treat you this way,
Thanks, babe.
then they are not the right one. You are dating losers.
Yeah.
Start to find another one.
Yeah.
Like I think we also need to define. What does it mean by losers? What does it mean by like the standard of relationship? A good relationship, a healthy relationship nowadays is really disputed because of social media.
Yes.
So that's why we are doing this conversation.
And this conversation really is to get you to open your mind and to think, to really define what a healthy relationship is about. Like,
Yeah.
what is health like?
Yeah.
Because if you don't look for a healthy relationship, you're going to end up dating a loser.
Yeah.
Because losers come in many shapes, size, and form.
You're right.
A loser can also come in the shape of, for me, in my journey of dating in the past, I wanted to be the savior. I didn't see the red flags. Now, this is a loser mentality for me because I thought that I could save the day. I thought I could help her, and what's worse? Oh man, I was one of those guys because I thought I was a Christian and let me help her to, maybe get closer to Jesus. I'm so sorry, God. But yeah, that was my behavior when I was younger.
Yeah.
And what happened was both of us, we were not ready. Very different values, very different wants in life, very different perspective of the future. And we end up dating for a while. And, when we broke up, it was very painful.
Yeah.
Very hurtful because I ended up thinking like, I've given my best, I've given everything, I put in my effort, my time. Why is it like this? But many years later, I want to thank my mentors and people who are beside me. They're like, hey, Dan, that was like a bad way, like an unhealthy way. And for me, that is actually a loser mentality.
Yeah.
Loosely, a term that people will loosely use today is being a simpler, basically, right? I did whatever the girl wants just to please her, Okay. Yes. So I admit I was like a loser
Be the
once.
puppy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think like when the relationship not work out, like in the end, like you broke up, and then in your anger you're like, I don't know why I keep like meeting someone who is like that, and you define this person a loser. But actually, if you really look back, it is also your fault, right?
yeah.
Like what you said just now at the beginning, you misinterpret the red flags, and then you making it as a challenge to overcome instead.
Yeah.
And it's not a red flags.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think for your case, maybe right, like at the beginning, this person has character that challenging, let's say, right? Or this person looks like strong, and then say their mind, right?
Yeah.
That's why you're attracted to her. I mean, I know this story. I know his story, right?
It's so weird that this is all in video. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh man, if the person listen to this.
No, but I mean, we have.
But it's also your fault. You
It
see,
is my fault. It is
I
my
mean,
fault
like,
too.
because both of you are imperfect person. Like,
Yes.
I mean, like, who is perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I think your fault at the beginning is you take it as a challenge instead of red flags.
Red flag.
And then in the end, when your relationship didn't work out, then you are like, why am I dating a loser? When you are also a loser at the beginning because you
Yes.
think that you can fix that person.
My wife just
but-
called me a loser.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, all jokes aside, looking back and now where we're at, you know, babe, we also encountered ourselves in our relationship when we were dating, and then now as a married couple. I think an example of overcoming challenges would be building us, fighting for us. You know, of course now things are maybe different because we have kids in our lives. So you have your perspective of how to raise kids. I have my perspective and how we are figuring things out, you know. Thinking back those days, like the handphone example in our relationship, I think there was one good lesson for us of overcoming a challenge, because mind you, it was a heated argument as well, because you were also proving your point about how this is important. Your dad is there for you, and it's true. There's really nothing wrong with it. And my point was like, but we are doing this together. You know, I assure you that we can do this together. And what I love about it is we didn't stay there. And when we fight for us, overcoming the challenge, that means you put your ego, I put my ego aside as well. And then we communicate. We talk about like, okay, look, this is why I feel, because I actually wanted to be there present for you. Because I also don't want to fall into the trap again of, you know, being the guy that want to provide everything. And I guess most guys, or all of us guys, we want to be there for our partner. We want to provide, and I had to be very careful as well, because I don't want to be that guy that gets into that, again, savior complex. I want to make sure I provide everything for you, and then I feel that if I'm not careful, I'll go back into that loser mentality again, you know, and making sure that Caroline gets what she wants, or else, because the loser mentality comes in where if I don't get this for Caroline, then she doesn't love me. You know, she doesn't value me, and my value is placed on the things that I can do for you, which shouldn't be the way and wouldn't be the case, you know. So I'm glad that we overcame that challenge.
Yeah, I think if you hear our story, right, you can tell that you were a loser too at the beginning of our relationship. True.
Yeah.
I was a loser. he was a loser. But I think what makes our relationship work is because we get out of it, like what you say just now.
Yeah.
Right? We are trying to be a better version of ourselves, and we help each other to be a better version of ourselves. I mean, like, if you are listening to this and then you are like trying to reflect on your relationship, and you started to think that, oh, you know what, I think I'm dating a loser. I mean, I think it also depends on what kind of losers. Is your boyfriend or girlfriend abusive? Like, you know, then you
Oh,
should get out of it.
yeah.
But you know, like that certain issues, right, in your relationship, maybe like this, like communication or perspective issues. I think you still can talk about it. There is still hope on how to, you know, make your relationship work, right? But
Maybe if I could just add on there real quick, babe. For those of you who are experiencing an abusive relationship, please talk to somebody. Don't go through it alone.
yeah,
You are
that's
not
definitely
alone.
a red flag. That
It's-
one you don't misinterpret. That one is a red flag.
You know, it's so sad. We've met thank God there's not many, but a few couples who, you know, were in abusive state. Mind you, abusive is not just physical, but verbal as well,
Yeah.
emotional as well. You hold someone hostage emotionally. You know, you bring that person down.
Yeah.
I think really to identify that now, that is a loser mentality. Straight up. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, a lot of couples, a lot of young people go through this, like they wonder, why am I in such relationship? Why am I in a relationship with a loser? Yeah, I think look back, why are you in this relationship at the first place? Maybe first it's like what you did in the past. You have a savior mentality,
Yeah.
you misinterpret red flags to be a challenge. Oh, I can change him.
Yeah.
I can make him a better version. But then you are actually ignoring a red flags.
Yeah.
Or some people get into a toxic relationship like that because of social pressures. All my friends has boyfriend. All my friends, they have girlfriends.
That is a
so they fear
big
of being
loser
alone.
mentality. You are dating because your peers are dating.
Yeah.
Like you're pressured into it.
Yeah, and you started to ignore all the red flags,
Oh, man.
they are abusive
Yeah.
with their words. They call you names. They call you
Yeah.
things that they shouldn't, or they are
Demean you.
yeah,
Bring
or
you
they are
down.
manipulating,
Yeah.
They are you know
Gaslighters.
yeah. Or they are emotionally unavailable. They just hardly there for you, not listening to you, or they are just inconsistent. They are, liars. I don't know. Then you started to
Yeah.
ignore the red flags because of that. So I think girls and boys, when you want to step into relationship, also look back. Why do I want this relationship? Why am I going into this? Yeah. So it's to avoid by the end of the relationship, you are asking yourself, why am I like this? Why am I in this position? Why am I dating losers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, this episode, we are not listing like, hey, number one, if this person's like this, then you should get out of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because Caroline and I, we believe in second chance. People make mistakes. People should be given a chance to grow and improve. Maybe you experience we can't say, like, for example, okay, if that person has a rage issue, break up with them immediately. Maybe you've experienced this person breaking his or her phone, or throwing things, and just like rage, right? Basically rage. Can that person change? Yeah, that
Yep.
person can change. But to the loser part is when you don't rectify it, not rectify, you don't, what is the word? You don't like call out the issue. Like,
Yeah.
hey babe, I think that is
You don't confront.
thank you, love.
Yeah.
You don't confront that issue. Like, and again, confront respectfully, right? Like, hey, babe, this is a rage issue. And of course, again, finding the right time. We've talked about this in our previous episode, right? The right environment,
Yeah.
the right time, even the right temperature.
Yeah.
Babe, I love you. Actually, when you're angry, I realized a couple of times
Yeah.
you smack the table. You slam the door.
Yeah.
I think that shouldn't be the way.
Yeah.
I really don't want us to move into a relationship of such. And maybe you can be honest. I'm worried. What if one day you're angry towards me? Will you do that to me?
Yeah.
And more than just assuring, oh no, babe, I won't do this to you. I will take care of you. I will love you. More than just assuring, like really have that kind of conversation, like how I feel, and because the loser part, or the gauge, right, when it gets to the loser part, is when you don't confront, when you think it's all right, and you say things like, he's like that one lah, she's like that one lah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a loser mentality, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think and then like you're saying you're talking about confronting, right? And maybe you already did. You
Yeah.
confront that person and it doesn't work. Maybe it helps to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Nowadays, right, you can find counselors.
Yeah.
You can find therapies. Right? Like you can talk to someone about it,
Yeah.
about your relationship. But I think like if you are not in a relationship yet and then you are worried of this, you are fearful of this, and then that could be the reason why you are not in relationship. You're scared that you are going to date a loser. So what if this person becoming a loser? Maybe you need to start, reflect on yourself. Like, know what you want and know what you need
Yeah.
in a person. And also,
So if I want toxicity, I look for a person that's toxic. Nah, just kidding.
no, you want to be a better version of yourself.
I'm
The
just kidding,
goal
babe.
is
Sorry.
always to be a better version of ourselves, right? Can this person help me to be a better version of myself? Can I
Yeah.
be a better person, And I think also it's important that as a single person, we learn to build our self-worth, know where our self-worth came from.
Yeah.
So we can avoid the patterns of settling for less,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So, if we're going to come to a conclusion today, maybe a couple of keywords that could help you to, define some of these loser mentalities. I think number one, if the person is unsupportive, and again, I want to be very careful here. It's not just supporting you in everything that you do, because there could be times where someone need to nudge us and push us, right? So, but generally, a good rule of thumb is when the person is unsupportive. The second one is manipulative.
Yep.
When that person is just wanting the best for themselves and not wanting you to grow. Now, I think that is very, very dangerous. So I think there's a couple of loser mentalities that, we can talk about several examples and issues and topics, but I think these are like the two big ones, right, babe?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think there's one more? Anything else besides being unsupportive, manipulative, abusive? Yes. Thirdly, abusive would be another one as well.
Yeah. I think also have to figure out, do you have same values or not? Because like I said, the word losers, when you define a loser, it can be subjective.
Yeah.
Because like maybe for, your entire life, your parents has been telling you, you have to date someone who makes 10,000 and above.
Oh, Caroline
And
is
then
going
if
there. Caroline is going there.
If they are making less, then they are a loser. I think also have to define what's your values, what are your personal values. Like for us as a Christian, our values is always
Faith.
Faith. And then I think like, are we living a life that pursuing health, pursuing a better version of
Yeah.
ourselves, or you just stagnant? Like for me, right? I think maybe to define what loser to me is right now at this position is someone who just not growing, just I'm like this, I'm like
Stagnant.
this. I think that is a loser. Like you can make a lot of money, you can be very successful, but then you are not someone who want to be better, just like that, just
Yeah.
stay there. I think that is a loser to
I
me.
think Tony Robbins called it the no man's land, where you are neither growing or you are not regressing as well. You are just there, You are just so comfortable where you're at. You don't want people to push you. If anyone push you, then you push that person out of your life. Oh my gosh. That's a good one,
So
babe.
if I can ask you, if I may ask you right
Yes,
now,
you may, baby.
like how do you define a loser? I mean, I'm not just talking about guys. Like for me, it's a guy's perspective just now what I mentioned because I'm a girl, right? Like for you right now, at this position, I'm not talking about back then when we just met, right?
Yeah.
Like how do you define a loser in relationship? Loser
I feel like just now
girlfriend?
when I said when we come to, if you can conclude like some points, manipulative, a person who gaslights.
Yeah.
But if I could give maybe another example, it would be, when a girl who is like disrespectful. We've seen videos before of how like girls hit their boyfriends or hit their husbands in public. And it's not because the husband did something wrong. It's more of because, I don't know how to call it in English. In Bahasa, we say merajo. Bahasa Indonesia, we say ngambek. Right? In English, I guess sulking. Yeah, sulking. And because of that bad behavior, you smack your loved ones.
Yeah.
You slap. And then the worst thing, this is a loser mentality as well. The guy is like, okay, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Correct. Yeah. And they do everything for them. I feel like that's very, very dangerous. Because there are many underlying issues. Insecurity.
Yeah.
The feeling of insignificance. And so maybe we should do a seminar about this. And the reason that we talk about this as well is because we want you, as we're coming into a new year, that, hey, time to really check into your relationships.
Yeah.
Time to look at some of your value system.
Yeah.
What is in your engine room, And I don't want us to come to a point in our lives where, it's so sad, babe. We meet some couples as well who are like maybe 30 years in their marriage, 40 years in their marriage, but they sleep in separate rooms. They don't talk to each other, They just stay together for the kids. I don't want that to happen to us. I don't want that to happen to you as well. So I think if at the dating stage, you could really stop dating that loser,
Yeah.
things would be better. Anything you want to add on, babe, before we
I think-
end this episode?
To be honest with you, like why was I attracted to you at the beginning that time when I was much younger, when I was 21, the first time I met him?
I was 20 years old. I don't know anything.
I don't think you're a loser because like what I really like about you is you know where you are going. You are very set because I think that a guy who don't know where you are going, like when I ask you, so where are we going with this relationship? So what do you want to be in the future? And their answer is, I don't know. Let life go, let
Yeah.
follow. I think that is a loser mentality and I don't like that. And I'm really glad that you are not like that and you are still not like that right now. And you are not stagnant. Even until this point, you are now 34, we have 2 kids. You're still not stagnant.
I'm
You're
always
still
challenging you.
too much. And you're still growing and I like that. I think for girls out there, yeah, take a look at that. Like how do you define a losers? And is that mentality healthy or not? You can talk to us. You can DM us. We are
Yeah.
available online. Yeah.
Now that Caroline mentioned about it, I don't know if this is like a topic about a loser mentality, but I think there are some people out there who, I guess also have to define the term take it slow. Because take it slow can also be a toxic trait. It can be it can be a loser mentality. Because take it slow can also be avoiding accountability, avoiding commitment. They
Yeah.
just want to let's take it slow, let's take it slow. Just see whether we can. But of course, there are some healthy take it slow.
Yeah.
As in maybe you just broke up and you are entering and you are not entering into a new relationship yet, but you are back in the dating scene. You found someone on a dating app and you're going for a first date. Yeah, maybe that might apply. Take it slow, not like straight away think about marriage and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to scare that person. But as Caroline was talking about this, I remember during that time, again, because it was I really thank God for a healthy community, and when I was pursuing you and we were dating, I guess this was like our 3rd or 4th date kind of thing, I didn't want to waste time. I wanted to find someone who shared similar values. And it was very scary because you're pretty and I wanted you
Thank
in my
you.
life. I actually told Caroline this, or I asked Caroline this. I told her that my vision in the future is to be a pastor. And I really love youth work. I think there's a lot of potential there. And I might also move back one day. I don't know, but I definitely want to be a pastor one day. And I know, especially if you're in a Christian scene, for someone to tell you, I'm going to be a pastor. I've known people who run away like, oh my God, this person wants to be a pastor. Run, that kind of thing. But I don't want to say I didn't care, but more of like, look, I don't want to mess around. If I'm going to fight with someone, if I'm going to argue with someone, if I'm going to, go through a tough time with someone, it better be with someone that has a similar value system.
Yeah.
And so I thought that this was like a bold step. Like, hey, Caroline, what are your thoughts of being with a pastor one day? And you straight up said, I don't mind being a pastor's wife. I don't mind being a pastor. Don't mind being a pastor's wife. Don't mind being a pastor. I was like, hey, got it. But of course, we went through our journey. I'm not saying that this is the only indicator, yeah, guys, because you could meet someone and maybe take a bold step and then maybe you might also end up in a wreck. what I'm trying to say is that really got to define that, what it means to take it slow and all of that. And I'm just glad that we are not alone doing this. There were people who keep us in check in our community, people who ask us, you sure? Is everything going to be okay? They were really more of a mirror, reflecting, and see, hey, are you sure? Are you ready? And I'm really glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if, let's say, we can sum it up, like how can you avoid being in a
Stop
relationship with
dating
a
a
loser?
loser.
I think first thing first, like for me, what's important is to really get to know your personal values. Like what he mentioned just now, right? My personal values is I think someone is a winner when he pursue God. That's for me. When he always trying to be a better version of himself. And to me, he is a winner. He is not a loser. But can you imagine, like he is a pastor now, right? He is not making like bucket loads of money or whatever. To some people, he might deem as a loser. You get what I mean? But I have to be firm with my personal values. My personal values is this is the kind of man I want to marry, a kind of man who's gonna lead my family, to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if I am firm with my values, I'm not easily swayed by what I see in social media. Those relationship goals. Those like you're a man. Your man is a loser if they are not having a house when they are 30, or when they are not having a BMW when they are 35.
Yeah.
I'm not easily swayed by that because I know my personal values and I found the man that I love and I want. And I hope that can help you, like get to know your personal values.
Yeah,
What is your personal? I'm not saying that, finding someone who's making a lot of money is bad. No, I'm not saying that. If that is your values,
I wasn't
why
gonna say
not
that. Yeah,
go for
yeah.
it, right? Yeah, but get to know that and don't get easily swayed by the social media, by what is out there, people saying. Because when you are firm with that, you can avoid getting into that trouble, in your relationship. That halfway in your relationship, suddenly you say that, oh, I think I'm dating a loser, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, babe. A lot more things to cover when it comes to like a loser mentality. But really, the value system, and you gotta really be sure what's happening. What would you want in a relationship? So, for more information, if you want to dive deeper, you can DM me or Caroline, or drop us an email at info@soul.org.my. And yeah, we would love to connect and guide you and help you through the relationship. Well, that's all for this episode. And are you still okay, babe?
I'm okay.
Our first video. So guys, we will see you for the next episode.
Thank you for sitting through this. See you soon.